2.4, CRD Polynomial Division Part 1. So there's going to be two parts to this lesson because I think it makes a lot of sense for you to watch the video for Part 1 and then do problems 1 through 24 in the book, and then come back and do Polynomial Division Part 2 and then do the second half of the lesson. I think if you watch all of it at once, it'll be a little bit confusing. So I think that was the best strategy. So you've learned how to name, you've learned how to write polynomials, then you learned how to add and subtract polynomials, and last lesson you learned how to multiply. So the last and probably the hardest of all of them is to divide polynomials. Most students find this pretty fun, but you have to kind of get over the hump of it being hard for then it to be fun. So let's take a look at something you already know here. 4 times 2 is 8, obviously, right? But when you have that multiplication problem, if you turn it around, it's the fact families that you did in probably second or third grade. You take your product 8 and you divide by one of the factors 4 and you'll get 2. I equally could have done 8 divided by 2 and gotten 4. So just keep in mind that fact family, that's something that you know from the past. So now let's go back to what we're working on, which is polynomials. I have a linear binomial times a linear binomial, okay? And I'm going to FOIL or use the box method. In fact, right now I'm going to use the box method. So I'm going to put x plus 5 along the top and x plus 2 along the side, and I'm going to multiply. Is this a repeat of what you've already done? Definitely, but it's going to help you with what's coming up. So now if I look at what's inside of my box, I get x squared plus 5x plus 2x is 7x plus 10. And that's my solution. So if I take this binomial times this binomial, I will get this trinomial, which is quadratic. Okay? All right, now I'm going to take my product, as you can see it right here, x squared plus 7x plus 10. All right, I'm going to take that binomial and I'm going to multiply, I'm going to divide by one of its factors. I'm going to divide by x plus 5. So I hope it makes sense to you that because when I multiplied and I got that product, now I take that product and multiply by one of the factors. I hope you could predict that the solution here is going to be x plus 2. And it is. But how the heck am I going to do it if I don't already know the answer? So I'm going to show you that. So we're keeping in mind that the solution is x plus 2. Okay. So what I do is I take this top quadratic trinomial, and that's what I want to think about is what's going to go inside my box. Notice how it was inside my box here, and I collected all the terms, and I came up with x squared plus 7x plus 10. So that's going to go inside the box. The factor on the bottom or the divisor on the bottom is going to x plus 5 be one of my factors on the side of the box. So I'm going to put it on the top. I could put it on the side equally. The thing I'm trying to figure out is this right here. This right here is the unknown. That is what I'm trying to figure out, which is what my solution will be. Okay, so if I have x plus 5 along the top, I've used that. Now I'm going to put my product inside the box. But I'm only going to put the upper left-hand corner, which is the x squared term, and the lower right-hand corner, which is the constant. The only reason I do that is because those are the things that don't combine with anything else. They're the things that are going to stand on their own. So I'm going to now use, basically, it's like a puzzle. X times what gives me x squared? Oh, I know. I'm going to use purple. X times x. Oops. X times x gives me x squared. Okay, so x times x gives me x squared, so then 5 times x should give me what goes in that box, which is 5x. Okay, well that makes sense, but I'm not quite there yet. Now I say 5 times what is going to give me 10? Oh, that's 2. Positive 2. So then if I go ahead and I look at the rest of the box, I get 2 times x, I get 2x, and now I check to make sure, does my inside box match what I started with? X squared plus 7x plus 10, and it does. So what is my answer? It's the purple right here, the question mark, x plus 2, which is what I predicted. Okay, now let's try another one. So Now I'm not going to tell you what the multiplication is. Now we're going to just work from what they're going to give you in the book. They're going to give you this quadratic trinomial, and they're going to ask you to divide by x plus 3. So I take my factor x plus 3 and I choose to put it on one side or the other. So x plus 3. The thing I'm trying to figure out is over here. I don't know what this is going to be, but that will be my solution when I get it. Now I take my product, or my on the top here, my x squared term and my negative 12, and I just put the first term and the last term into the boxes. So x squared and negative 12. I leave the middle because these two are going to combine to give me that negative 1x, and I don't know what it is yet. So now I say, okay, x times what gives me x squared? Oh, obviously it's x. So if x times x is x squared, then what's 3 times x? It's 3x. Okay, next I use my negative 12, and I say 3 times what gives me negative 12? 3 times negative 4 gives me negative 12. Okay, now fill in the last missing box. Negative 4 times x gives me negative 4x. And I combine this one and this one when I'm putting it together. And I have x squared, and that gives me negative x minus 12. So I have what I started with. So what is the answer to this problem? If I have x squared minus x minus 12 divided by x plus 3, I have x minus 4 as my answer. The check step, and I may not always do the check step, but I would definitely do the check step on a test, is to multiply these out and make sure they work. You do x minus 4, which is my answer, times x plus 3, which is the given factor, and I FOIL them out, and you say to yourself, oh yeah, it matches, so I know I got it right. Okay, so this is how you're going to see it in the book. Okay, and then we're going to get to 2 wacky solutions, and then we'll be done. So I have x squared minus 2x minus 15 divided by x plus 3. All right, so let's use different colors now. X plus 3 I'll put along the top. Okay, I'm trying to figure out what this solution is. I don't know. When I divide it, what I'm going to get. I put inside the box my x squared term and my constant. So x squared goes here, and my constant is negative 15. Now, when I combine these two boxes, once I figure them out, it should give me negative 2x. So you say to yourself, okay, x times what gives me x squared? X times x gives me x squared. 3 times x gives me what? Oh, 3x. Okay, 3 times what gives me negative 15x? Oh, it's got to be negative 5. And then x times negative 5 gives me negative 5x. So now just do a check on yourself. Inside the boxes I get x squared minus 2x minus 15. And does that match? X squared minus 2x minus 15, it matches. And then my check step would be to multiply. Oh, let's first state what the answer is. X minus 5, that equals x minus 5. It's my solution. And if I'm going to multiply them out, I have x plus 3 times x minus 5. And if I FOIL that out, I get x squared minus 2x minus 15. And indeed, that is the correct answer. So x minus 5 is my answer. Okay, now 2 kind of more difficult questions. 1 or 2, I can't remember. But if I have 2x to the third plus 9x squared plus 19x plus 15, now I have a cubic 4-term polynomial divided by 2x plus 3. Linus most of the time will tell you what size box to use, and that's a big clue. And then in the last 3, I believe he doesn't tell you that, in which case you try it on your own if you've figured out how to do it. And if you haven't, just ask in class and I'll help you. But basically, I start with a cubic 4-term polynomial. Everything in this box will combine to add up to this. The 2 things that will not combine with anything are my first and my last term. So I place the 2x to the third in the upper left-hand corner, and I place the 15 in the lower right-hand corner. The boxes that combine are this one combines with this one because they're diagonal, and this one combines with this one because they're diagonal. And that's always going to be the case. It's the way it ends up working. So I have 2x plus 3 as one of my factors. I'm not going to put that along the top because there's 3 spots for 3 terms, and I only have a binomial or 2 terms. So that means that what I'm going to use here is let's see what color I'm going to use. I'll use black. 2x plus 3, and I'm going to write it there. So now, again, I'm going to use, it's like puzzle logic. It's a little bit fun, I think. 2x times what gives me 2x to the third power? 2x times x squared. That gives me 2x to the second power. Well, now that means I can fill in this box down here. X squared times 3 is 3x squared. Okay, so that's all I can do right now. Now I go over to my 15. I know I have a 3 here, so this has to multiply with the number here to give me 15, so it has to be a 5. 5 times 3 is 15. Well, that also means that I can fill in this box here. 2x times 5 gives me 10x. Okay, now that's all I can do right now. So now I have to go and look at what was given to me in the beginning of this problem. I know my x squared term right here is 9x squared. And so the red dots are both going to be x squared terms. And they have to add to give me 9x squared. So if I have 3x squared, I know I'm going to need 6x squared, so that when I combine these two boxes, they add up to be 9x squared. All right, so what does that mean? Well, if that has to be 6x squared, and that's a 2x, then I know that this up here has to be 3x, because 3x times 2x is 6x squared. Now, if I multiply 3 times 3x, I get 9x. And if I combine my two blue boxes, blue mark boxes, I have 10x and 9x, which gives me my 19x, which is listed right here, which would then combine to give me exactly what I wanted. So what is my final answer? Well, my final answer is written along the top. It's x squared plus 3x plus 5. So it's a quadratic trinomial. If I want to check my work, I would multiply 2x plus 3 times x squared plus 3x plus 5. And when I multiply those two, I should get my original 4-term cubic polynomial. That's it. Good luck.